All right, test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, test. Let's see if this is working. Excellent. Okay. All right. Hey, we're streaming. Well, what do you know? Hey, everybody, how's it going? This is Dan with the Story Grind, and I thought I'd make a little comeback in streaming and make another attempt at it. Let me see if I can clear some space first. Yeah, okay. So the whole idea is I wanted to get some inking done, and I kind of want to prep for um, Inktober, which is coming up. And I want to kind of stream some illustrations that I'm going to create throughout uh, September and October. So I'm probably going to get a little bit of a head start when it comes to Inktober because I tend to slack, distract myself, and then never really finish Inktober. So I thought, hey, it might be a really good idea to get a head start if possible. Also working on some with some new brushes from Rusty Nib. Actually, I think the brushes are called Rusty Nib. I forget who actually makes them. I should probably look it up. But yeah, I just bought these brushes and liking them quite a bit. But as far as what I'm working on right now, this is a comic that I've been working on for way too long. Uh, if anybody's familiar with it, I think maybe January of this year, I told myself that I would have this finished for early March because that's when Emerald City Comic Con was happening. And I thought it would be a great idea to have like a finished book that I could walk around and just hand people. Unfortunately, I did not get close to finishing the comic or reaching that goal. Happens a lot, unfortunately. But even when the deadline was approaching, I told myself, okay, I'll get 8 pages done that I can at least hand out to people. Unfortunately, that did not happen either. So, uh, and now it's almost September, and I just finished the pencils for it. And now I'm kind of playing with different inking styles. So, um, for better or for worse, this is where we're at. And yeah, I mean, it's the way comics go sometimes, especially when you're doing them on your own like this. You can frequently uh, lose track of thought and end up um, working on other projects and then putting this one, putting your comics on the back burner. But that's okay. I'm back on track now. And I just thought, hey, I'll come on to YouTube and stream for an hour, just as like a little bit of a warm up. It's only the second stream that I've ever done, so we'll see how this goes, for better or for worse. So yeah, me and some friends were actually talking about doing streaming again, um, and I don't know, maybe that'd be cool to like kind of bring some people on and chat and stream at the same time. I think that could be fun. But I wanted to create something that it wasn't. I didn't necessarily need to rely on other people to do the streaming. Essentially, I would just rely on myself. So that means I could jump on when I needed to. So that was the basic idea. So as far as like bringing in like maybe a guest to stream and draw with me, that could happen in the future. But for right now, let me just get on my feet and we'll see how this goes. Got such a tiny character here. And hopefully, yeah. I should create like a sub view. I think I can create I don't even need a sub view. I think I can create a window that'll allow me to Can I create a new window? I can create a new window. And I've got this extra wide monitor, so I might as well make use of it, right? Let's see, what's the scale of this? Oh, looks like 10.9. That doesn't help me much. It's okay. So I don't want to zoom in too much. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right, aiming for an hour. Aiming for an hour. What I like about having this extra window in here is that it kind of shows me, it kind of like makes sure I don't get too in the weeds with the details, which I can do at times. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a help. All right. So far, so good. Good. All right. Yeah, so back again. I will say the past few months, I've actually been working on other projects, not comic projects. I mean, I've been working on this, penciling this off and on a little bit, here and there. And right now, I think I've got more free time. I can actually focus on this thing and really kind of knock it out. I mean, this was supposed to be like a fast project, one issue, right? 24 pages now, and it was supposed to be easier than the graphic novel I was working on last year, which was like, 250 some pages, which is, it's pretty insane. Although that thing is, I think the first issue and a half is penciled. I think the whole graphic novel is lettered and thumbnailed. So to kind of take a back seat on that and move to a different project was really hard because I had put so much work into it. The idea of like abandoning 200 some pages of work is crazy. But in the end, I just felt like it just wasn't my style, and I thought it would be a good idea to just do something because it was a fantasy story, and I tend to write horror when it comes to like my fiction as well as my comics, and just kind of like it kind of sat in this weird little zone where it was almost like children's fantasy, but I don't really write children's fantasy, so I thought, yeah, it's probably good to move on to a different project. Sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you just gotta realize that abandoning the project is sometimes the better move. You just don't want to do that too often. Um, Unfortunately, I do it all the time. But this is going to be it. I'm telling you that I'm telling myself, I should say, that I'm really determined to finish this thing. It's only 24 pages. Everything's penciled right now, and feeling pretty good about it. So hopefully this will be soon done soon. So my goals with this one is I think I'm going to end up inking it, and then inking it, as you can see here, and then um, painting it, sort of almost in like almost sort of a dry pastel sort of way. I've actually already done 3 pages. Actually, I should say 2 pages because one page, you can kind of see them right here. See if I can enlarge them. So there's the first page already painted and lettered. Second page, which kind of gives you a little bit of an idea. Oops. See if I can do this. of what the final look is going to be. I'd even say with the oh, I sorry, it snaps back up to the page I'm working on. I forget about that, so you can actually look at it. But anyways, uh, if you see sort of that style, it's almost in a more of a children's book style. But I think what I'm going to do is do it in more of a like this sort of comic booky type style right now, and then paint it in like sort of a children's book style. Is that a good idea? I don't know. Might be a terrible idea. We'll have to wait and see. Looks like his arm was a little too long for me there. So I just brought his hand down a touch. Get a good flip in there so I can make sure everything looks okay. Yeah. All right. The great thing about streaming is that it forces me to actually draw. When it forces me to actually sit and focus and concentrate. I tend to distract myself quite a bit. You know, you have the internet right in front of you. You can easily find yourself going down a rabbit hole of whatever random stuff you've discovered. So yeah, this is just like, okay, I really need to focus. I need to create something. No excuses. Can't go and surf the internet right now, right? And I kind of discovered this. I do like a bi-weekly group where we kind of do like a critique with everyone, and we have like 6 of us, and what we'll do is we'll sit down and we'll look at each other's work, which has really been a um, fun and helpful exercise for I think for all of us. So we get to sit down and critique each other's work, and we do it every other week. And then afterwards, we'll do like a draw and chat. And in that draw and chat, I get so much work done. It's actually kind of crazy. Really enjoying that. So, but I thought, you know, if I do streaming, maybe, just maybe, I'll get more work done. Hopefully. All right, this tiny guy. I don't want to give him too much detail because he will be small. And I'm not spotting my blacks yet. I think what I'll do is either I'll do a shadow pass or I'll just leave them open for now just so they can, so when I paint it, it'll be a little bit easier. I mean, I won't have to worry about it. Worry about spotting blacks anyways. All right. So yeah, streaming. We'll see. Again, this is sort of the second stream, testing it out, seeing how it works. But if it goes well, I think what I'll do is I'll try to do them in the evenings every day. I'm not sure how popular art streams are on YouTube, but yeah, you know, again, it's more of a point of focus. And then maybe you could bring some friends on and we can stream together, but I have to check in with them and see if that's cool. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah. Working with a new what do you call it? Not a drawing pad. It's right now I use like, well, I should say I used to use a TabMate that works with Clip Studio Paint. It's almost like this little handheld device which lets you access your shortcut keys really easily. But for some reason, the Bluetooth kept dropping out, and it was driving me nuts. So I ended up getting this like little number pad off of Amazon, and takes some getting used to, um, but I'm pretty sure it'll be like secondhand in maybe a week or two. So I'm already getting used to it a little bit. How's he looking? He doesn't look too happy, but I don't think he's supposed to be. So, all right. Hopefully he's done. So what I'm going to do with the background is I will end up um, I was gonna kind of attack it as a little bit. I don't know if you ever see those cartoons out there, like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons where they do um, like the characters that are important are like have a holding line and the background is just sort of like a has no holding line and is painted. I think that's going to be my approach for this. So I'm not going to ink the background necessarily, but I think when I do the flats, I will just kind of draw them in. Okay. We got yelling guy. Oh, wait, you know what? I need to put some hair on him. Yeah. Something I always forget. He's got to have the mullet. Yeah, give him a little some more like frown lines as well. He is screaming at his son at this point in the story. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm so glad I lowered that hand because look at now, see how they're like a little bit level with each other. That's something that even as a kid learning how to draw, I always overlooked that. It was really frustrating. But it's something I still kind of overlook, as you just saw. But now that I'm aware of it, I will make sure it's fixed. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, give him a little belly button here. Not like anybody's ever going to see that. Okay. Now let's see if I can get this face to look similar to that face. That's the hardest part, I think. I mean, I do have a character sheet, but do I ever look at it? No, of course not. If I remember right, this character's name is Buck, and he's got thinner eyebrows than his brother, who's also out in the woods with him. Okay. And I'm also sort of, as you can see from these pupils, I was kind of going with like a little bit of an older style cartoony look. Um, but actually, since then, since just kind of working on this for a while, I think I'm kind of abandoning that and I'm going to go for this more traditional inking style. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I might change my mind. One of the great things I actually learned from our critique group is, they gave me some advice, which is just to experiment a little bit more. And taking that to heart. So I'm going to try this out, see if I like this inking style, and if not, I'll switch back. I'll switch to something else, I guess. Okay. Noses are always fun. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, see, still getting used to this pad, this keypad a little bit. I don't know if I want his eye to look like that, do I? Maybe it's fine. One of my other thoughts was about actually printing out the pencils and inking this on paper, um, which I think would be kind of fun to capture on camera as well. Only problem with that is as you can see, I tend to spin the canvas around a lot. I can't imagine that's going to be great for viewers at home. Um, I think you're gonna make some people sick, but it's something worth exploring. All right. Yeah. I might actually finish inking this page. I don't want to jinx it, but maybe I'll finish inking this page in this hour. Maybe, maybe not. I find that's sort of like one of the biggest challenges when it comes to getting work done is just focus and getting your butt in the chair and really just finishing it. Butt in the chair is I think it's the hardest part of like any real craft. Um, just got to sit down and you got to do it. All right. Okay. Yeah. So far, so good. Hats are a big pain for me. I saw someone illustrate them really well, and they kind of created it like a half of a, especially the brim, is like almost a half of a pipe. Um, like if you cut the front of, if you've cut the pipe horizontally along the length of it, that kind of curve represents the like just the brim of the hat. Um, I would do that for this, but I'm gonna be lazy, so no, I'm not gonna do it. Plus, I feel like this guy's hat's a little more flat brimmed, but I think in the future I'm gonna try that out. It's kind of a fun way to approach something. I mean, who'd have thought there were so many different styles of baseball caps out there? All right. I think I'm going to give him just a little bit more gruff under the eyes here. And maybe I'll make him scowl a little bit more because this guy's a little grumpy. All right. All right. Yeah. I think I'm looking at that. I don't know. Are his eyes too close? Maybe one's a little bit too big. Well, first of all, actually, I'm going to also twist this. It's kind of the fine tuning, I feel like, eats up some time. Yeah. All right. Nice and scowly. That's good enough. Again, I'll just use colors to kind of, instead of spotting blacks, I'm just gonna paint it in. Ooh, miniature silhouettes. I don't know if you've ever seen Jim Lee draw uh, silhouettes. He's so good. Like the tiniest silhouettes that I've ever seen, and they're all so well proportioned. I don't know how he pulls that off, but I feel like something about the scale of a tiny silhouette just throws me off when I'm drawing. Like, plus I'm always like, are people really looking at this? But I was just looking at what is it? He pencil Batman Hush, and they released like a penciled edition. What is it? I think it's called Unwrapped, actually. I actually got rid of that book a while ago, but it's definitely worth checking out just to see his pencils and just sort of like on splash pages, with a giant picture of Batman. You've got like Catwoman in the background as a silhouette, and it looks amazing. Just like the most brilliant, just sort of like a tiny silhouette that you could just so easily miss, and he just drew it perfectly. So I'm pretty envious of that ability. This guy's neck is way too long. There we go. That's working. Okay. And his arm is weird too. Maybe if I add more silhouette, that'll hide it. Yeah. That's all you gotta do is just add more silhouette. I should just make everything in silhouette. I did not start this project in Jake Parker's. I actually started in Jake Parker's graphic novel pro class. I started another project that I abandoned. I was just actually talking about it a little bit earlier, and yeah, it was one of those projects. It was sort of like a fantasy story, kind of like for kids, but not really. So it ended up being one of those projects that I was so confused about the audience that I decided, I drew about, I think I hit thumbnailed about 250 pages of it and lettered 250 pages of it. I had penciled like maybe the first issue and a half and like probably inked about the first half issue. And so yeah, I ended up saying, you know what, after a while, I was like, you know what, maybe it just doesn't fit sort of my style. I mean, after all that work, realizing it doesn't fit my style is like, ugh. But it's always still there, so I can always come back to it, which is crazy. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes it takes a while to like figure out what works and what's worth sticking with and what's not. But yeah, I can always come back to it. Oops. But yeah, so actually, I think that was like last year I took Jake Parker's graphic novel pro class. Made a lot of friends through that class. And actually, we do a bi weekly critique group with the people I met in that class still. So it's just like 6 of us. We meet every 2 weeks. We share our work. It's a really tight knit group. It's a lot of fun. They give great feedback, and it's sort of one of those things that really motivates a person to get some drawing done. It motivates. I should say it motivates me to get some drawing done. And so every 2 weeks, I gotta have new pages to show, and hopefully, yeah, I'll be showing these inks pretty soon. But oops, this guy's a little bit bigger. I feel like his neck is thicker too. He's got like bigger shoulders as well. I mean, again, sort of like I should probably reference, like, look how tiny that's going to be. Like, I probably shouldn't get too hung up on what it's going to look like. But of course, I'm an artist, so that's exactly what I do. You just get obsessed over the details. All right. I was amazed by people who can really draw and move really fast, but I am not at that level yet. So for me, it's going to be pretty slow moving. At this point, I kind of do maybe like I can maybe knock out if I have like a full day where I'm not distracted by anything. I can knock out a page in a day, maybe of pencils, I should say. Definitely not pencils and inks or colors. Then inks, maybe I could do a half a page a day, but um, I'd still say that's probably not as fast as it needs to be an actual professional. But who knows? I feel like they, depending on the drawing style, they make allowances these days. Um, but you can actually draw. You could take like 6 months to draw a few issues, and you don't necessarily need to be on the monthly grind anymore. But I'm not actually worried about that. Sort of the great thing about independent comics is you can just do whatever you want and take as long as you need. One of the things I really wanted to do was like knock out some comics quickly, because I tend to like get distracted and move on to other projects. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a 24 pager standalone issue. There's not going to be, it's not going to be a long running series. It's going to be an anthology. So, like, if I do get bored, I can actually sit down and create a different story for the second issue. And it's a great way to, like, just keep me focused. And if I do get bored, it's like doing a second issue with different stories and different characters is still within the same series. So I thought it might be like a smart way to like actually produce, I don't know, 4 or 5 issues, however long that takes. Kind of thinking about things like anthologies, like one-man anthologies, like Daniel Clowes, of course. Sort of a horror anthology, like what he did with 8 Ball. My stuff is a little more genre, so I'm not quite doing that sort of indie stuff, that level of indie. But I'm also doing some research for the Story Grind, a few new episodes, which includes. I just finished critiquing, or I should say, doing an episode on Ice Cream Man. So what I'm going to end up doing is publishing that, or broadcasting that. I should say, uploading that video probably in a few weeks. I want to actually get a few more videos under the belt, so I have a backlog. But it'll be Ice Cream Man, as well as Terminator, which I happened to just read and was actually really good. Um, as far as publishing goals, what I would end up doing is I'm just I think right now I'm just looking at doing single issues. I'm going to try to do like at least 3 issues, get them all penciled, inked, colored, and then reach out to Image and see if they would be interested. But if not, I can also release them on Kindle. I have an account at Global Comics where I have some mini comics up. I have some comics up on Gumroad as well. So yeah, there's some options to self publish it, but I wouldn't mind kind of just if I can get like 3 or 4 done before I reach out to Image, that would be great. But we'll see. We'll see if they would be interested in my weird drawing style. I don't get my hopes up on that. It's just a matter of oh, thank you so much about loving the story grind. Yeah, yeah, it's been it's such a fun way to kind of force myself to learn, as well as kind of educate myself and become a better storyteller. It's one of those things that I want to put out more episodes. But man, it takes about 3 days to put an episode together between like reading it and notes. And I tend to be just like a really slow reader, as well as a really slow note taker. But between, those 3 days, it sort of adds up for just an episode that you release once a week. Um, but yeah, you know, step at a time. It's just a matter of building up a backlog and getting it out there. Yeah, all right. But I also think I'm going to do a few more like shorts episodes. Like I've kind of been hearing like how popular it is to just do like the TikTok style short content video. And I'm gonna give it a try. I'm still trying to figure out like a way I can like do like a good format, and still give some like good educational content and material, while keeping it short. I think that's the challenge. It's like you don't want to make it garbage, right? Yeah. So this is the father of the main character, the kid, in this story. Um, he's got a little bit of a bump in his nose that I like to draw. Yeah, YouTube does like the shorts. I get hit with those all the time, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's sort of the new format. 30-second clips. I mean, I remember when TikTok first came out, I was like, "Oh, this is terrible. This is just it's just YouTube for people with short attention spans." And then I kind of found like the community, like all the book lovers and all the comic lovers on TikTok, and I was just like, "Oh, this is awesome!" Like I've learned so much from TikTok in these like short content videos. Um, that I'm a big believer in the short format now. I just gotta find a way of delivering something that's sort of like entertaining and educational. So hopefully that'll happen soon. I've just been reading a few books that were really entertaining, that I think I'll focus on. Like I said, Terminator um, is going to be one of them. Ice Cream Man, I've already recorded the video. But I think, as far as like short content, I'll probably do something like, um, I just read Muybridge, which is more of like a historical uh, nonfiction, and really, which I really liked. So it's drawn really well. So I'm definitely gonna try to do a short on that. Ooh, as far as my log line for this, um, what is my log line for this? I haven't really rehearsed it or practiced it, but the interesting thing is I've written a novel sort of based in this world. And I've actually have a short story that's been published based in this world. Essentially, the whole world is that 15 years ago, this sort of land across the United States became corrupted, and inside this land are like creatures of nightmare. Actually, I can kind of show you a little bit. So this is like the initial map, um, for the story. So this sort of swatch of like black land has like sprouted up in throughout North America, and within sort of these black borders are creatures of nightmare. And I kind of think of it as like, if you ever seen like the Upside Down from Stranger Things, kind of comes to the surface, and then there's sort of like this, the stories that kind of take place in the novels follow a main character named Maddock, and sort of like this. I kind of think of him as like a modern day Witcher, kind of, and within the sort of fighting like these nightmare creatures within the borders here, as a gun for hire. So it's a little bit more of a modern day Witcher type of thing. But as far as this story specifically, man, this actual log line is, probably off the top of my head, I'd say, it's a family is goes out into the Scar, which is the name of the Black Land, to hunt moths in order to sell to, big pharma. Um, and at the same, yeah, I really don't have a good log line. I haven't even really thought about it that much, but I should be thinking about it because the kid ends up, kind of being made fun of because he calls his father, Papa, instead of Dad, and his older cousin just kind of keeps calling him a baby, and so he ends up having sort of this growth of becoming a little bit more of an adult through the story. He stops calling his father Papa, he starts calling him Dad. But he also encounters sort of these nightmare creatures in the woods. Um, Sort of makes him toughen up a little bit. Um, I'm trying to think of what the actual inciting incident is. It's kind of hard to think about it and draw at the same time, but that's actually a good point. I should probably think about. I mean, I'm so far away from finishing it that I haven't really thought about it. But I know there's one there. I'll just have to. I'll have to get back to you on that. Yeah, but having a good log line is important. Um, okay, I need to take his eye down a little bit here. Yeah. So it actually looks like he's looking out the side of his head. Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like I've been working on the story probably since January, and it's been going so slow that I'm just like one step at a time, one step at a time. Um, I bet you I have a log line written in the script somewhere. I just can't remember it. But as we get closer to the finish of this story, I'll start developing and start putting it out there. Promoting a book is sort of one of those things that I don't do too often, or very often at all. Besides, the little bits on the story grind. But one thing I'd love to do is go on to like a convention and actually promote it and maybe table. That'd be fun, but not quite there yet. All right, let's see how small this guy's going to be. Oh yeah, he's going to be tiny. And here I am, like zoomed in at like 5,000%. So it's all right. Again, drawn baseball caps. Why did I put so many baseball caps in this story? I think my next story, I'm actually going to start. I've kind of thought about this and I realized I haven't drawn dinosaurs ever. And I think it would be really cool to draw dinosaurs. So I think my next step is going to be creating a story with dinosaurs, sort of in this sort of weird land of monsters. But they can't just be straight up dinosaurs, right? They gotta have to have some kind of interesting quality about them. Um, that'd be worth putting them in this sort of world. Yeah. I'm also thinking about, for some reason, um, making the next, because right now it's all in the woods, and I really want to start drawing more stuff in perspective. So I think maybe the second issue will actually be maybe take place in like an abandoned city or suburb that's been uh, covered by like kind of the scars sort of corrupted the land of like a city, and it'd be kind of cool to see just like a destroyed skyscrapers. But yeah, cosmic actually is sort of one of the things that um, it's sort of things that I love about horror. So in the novels, it does get a little cosmic. Um, in in the short story that was published, I don't think it's as cosmic. It's more of just horror. Um, and then as far as like the next comic, yeah, maybe it could go cosmic. That'd be really cool. Yeah, you never know. You never know. But yeah, again, it's such a far ways off. It's like just kind of like playing with the idea right now, just kind of debating it. I think maybe once I start finishing the inks and I start working on the colors, I'll probably start writing the next issue just as a way to, kind of stay ahead of it so that when I finish this one, I'll actually have something new to draw. I'm going to do that on a new layer so I don't have to erase my work. All right. All right. There we go. Getting there. All right, let's see. I think I'm gonna give him some teeth here. Whoops. No. Oh, of course, I did that in the wrong layer. Always drawing on the wrong layer. Here we go. I don't know if that's reading as a lip though. As a lower lip. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah. Ah, no. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is I can always revisit it and come back and fix it later. But I want to finish this guy, and then I've only got one more panel to do. All right. Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Again, just doing these streams really forces me to get some drawing done, which is nice. Because I'll tell you, sometimes I'd be slacking. All right. Okay. All right, more silhouettes. Whew. I was debating on giving this kid big ears just as a way to give him an interesting silhouette. Well, I was gonna say before, yeah, as far as like drawing silhouettes, there's an artist out there who like specializes in like creating silhouettes. It's actually I sort of discovered his stuff. He did like children's books. His name is Jeffrey Allen Love. And the silhouettes are really cool. They're always super textured, which I like a lot. Um, but yeah, his whole drawing style is just every panel. He recently just drew a comic. What was it called? I don't know. It was like a zombie comic. Um, but yeah, every panel was a silhouette, and I feel like that's kind of bold. It's just like how do you pull that off? But he did it. Pretty popular artist too, because I just saw his. I think he shows work, or he has at least a book through Flesk Publishing. And I only know this because I just picked up an Al Williamson book from them, sort of like an artist edition, which was really cool. And I had an ad for Jeffrey Allen Love's work. Yeah, yeah. But there's a guy out there who he draws all silhouettes for each panel. I wonder if that's fast for him, or if it takes him a long time to really figure that stuff out. All right, do I dare use the paint bucket fill? I dare. Let's see. Hey, all right. Oh, you know what? Look at that. That's not cool. What did I do wrong there? You know what it is? I think my tolerance is too low. Let's try that again. I was just talking to some friends about anti-aliasing and how it can really screw you up. And oh, all right, so that really screwed it up. Let's lower the tolerance. Nope, still no. And the interesting thing is I have anti-aliasing off on this brush, so it should be working. And I'm not sure if it's tolerance, maybe it's area scaling. Let me try. Yeah, there we go. I think that area scaling gives me a little bit of overlap. And gets rid of that chunkiness right along the edge there. I mean, I still have some here, which I don't like, but I think it's going to be so small, it's not going to matter. Oops, there we go. Last one fill, last one fill. All right. 1 of 4 done. Let's see if we can do it the same with this guy. Gotta close these shapes first. You know what I could do? I could just use shift and take this mask off so I can see underneath. That would be smart. All right, let's try it. Okay. Better than nothing. Probably could tweak my settings so I won't have to do this sort of last one fill stuff at the end, but I probably should. It's one of those things where I always feel like, oh yeah, I should do that. It would save me time, but then I just get obsessed and in the weeds and I just don't get around to it. All right. Yeah, the great thing about sort of this anthology, the way I have it set up, is that it's going to be able to explore all different kinds of stories, which I think is going to be really cool. And you know, as a artist with a short attention span, I think being able to bounce around to different types of stories within the world is going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully fun for the reader as well. All right, let's bring this mask back up. There we go. All right, let's see what this looks like small. All right. Does that look like a kid's head, or is it a little too large? I feel like he's a little chunky, so I want to kind of maybe I'll just thicken up his neck a little bit. Yeah. Give him a bit of a hunch. Yeah. Okay. That might be better. All right. 2 down, 2 to go. These guys are super tiny. And of course, they're brothers, so they're arguing with each other at this moment. Let's see. Yeah, again, don't want to zoom in too close because all that work you do will just get lost. Let's see. I think that should work. Still trying to get used to this number pad. it's not as intuitive as the Clip Studio TabMate, which I loved. But yeah, for some reason my Bluetooth has just been going buggy on me. I don't know if my computer's getting old or what. But okay, this is wired through USB, so I don't have to worry about that issue anymore. Still trying to iron out my shortcuts as well, because it's not quite exactly what I want to be. But like for some reason on the TabMate, you could always hit like a key and it would only be temporary. And then once you release that key, or that button, I should say, it would go back to whatever tool you were using, which was very cool. All right, let's try this paint bucket again. Let's see if we got any openings. All right. All right, you know what? I'm gonna try to, let's try the scaling. Let's see if I can get it to work. I don't know if that did anything. Maybe it's the tolerance. No, try to scaling. Am I misunderstanding what scaling is? Wait, scaling to darkest pixel, round, rectangle. Anti-aliasing to darkest pixel. I think that's right. Yeah, I'll figure it out some other time. So for now, I will do it the old-fashioned way. Just lasso it out. And then again, it might only be this way anyway, so. So if anybody knows how to do this better, please let me know. Always looking to try to get better at this. Okay. Man, his nose got big for some reason. Let's see. Yeah, that hat brim is way too big for him. All right, so make sure I fill those gaps, because when I fill this, I don't need it spilling out everywhere. Now, the weird thing is, I could have sworn, I have anti-aliasing turned off, but I am still getting gray pixels, which is really strange. Should I change this to monochrome? It'll get rid of my gray pixels, but how terrible is it going to look? Looks about the same. I mean, it's giving me some chunky lines, man, but you know, you sort of have to embrace the brush a little bit. Not aiming for perfection, just aiming to finish. What is the saying? Finished, not perfect, right? Yeah, definitely not perfect. Man, I've actually worked on projects that I thought were, I mean, I have really fought to make them perfect, and I thought they were perfect when I released them, and they just failed miserably. So perfection is an illusion, in my opinion. I think just getting it done is sometimes the hardest. The fact that, you know, all the work you see out there, it's sort of just a miracle, because so many things can go wrong, and again, you can always get tied up in the details and trying to make things perfect. That, you know, it really holds up a project. So finished not perfect is such a great saying. And I think there's also something to be said about getting better, you know? Each time you, oops, what did I do? Each time you make something, you get better at your craft. So it'll never be perfect, really, because the next time you do it, it's going to be even better. All right. Give me a shin here, a foot here, and I'll erase the grass back into the silhouette because that'll be easier to do. All right, let's see if I can get this paint bucket fill. I bet you the paint bucket fill is gonna work better. Ooh, he looks a little skinny there, but again, tiny silhouette. I gotta tell myself it'll be okay. It's tiny. All right, let's see if this works. Oh, we still got some little gaps in there. I do not understand. That's all right. I think there's actually some charm to having like a badly drawn silhouette. Especially when it's something people only, whoops, what did I do? It's something people are going to see for like a fraction of a second. Oh, and then I need to draw. So now I need to erase into their feet a little bit. Give me some grass. If I were really smart, let's see, I can do the brush. I can switch it to clear, and then it'll let me use the brush that I'm using. Instead of just the basic eraser, which is nice. Some tall grass, man. Here we go. Get to hide my terrible feet. Sort of my Liefeld trick. All right. That's looking fine. I will switch out of clear back to black, and then I'm going to thicken this brush up. And so one of these guys is holding a rifle. Oops. In silhouette, it'll be fine. Kind of works. Yeah, I think it's working well enough anyways. And then this kid is holding a net. Boom. It's just gonna look like a broomstick. All right. And there we go. We've inked a page. Let's see if we bring the text in. Look at all those word balloons covering everything up. All right. So that's it for today. Thank you all for hanging out and watching. Yeah, managed to do a whole hour. So what I'm planning on doing is doing more of these. My hope is to do one live stream per day, and then maybe on weekends bring in some guests to kind of help and draw along with me. They'll be probably drawing their own projects. We'll see if that happens or not. But just the idea is, yeah, to keep doing this more often, just to kind of keep putting myself out there, forcing myself to get some drawing done. I hope you all had a good time watching. Thanks for following along. Man, I can already see I need to lift this hat up a little bit. See, I'm already getting into the details a little too much. But for now, thank you all for watching. I am gonna take a little break, and then I will see you tomorrow. All right, everyone? Let's see. I'm not even sure how to stop this thing. Here we go. There we go. End stream. All right, everyone. Take care.